With Zack Snyder's Justice League out today, I'm so hyped. I've already watched it. But I thought, you know what? It would be good to go back and do a tier list for all of the DC movies that have come before this one. There's a lot that I liked about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But today we're talking about all of the movies that came before it, and we're going to be making a tier list. So we're going to get into that right now. Now, first things first, right? I don't want to focus too much on the old movies. I want to focus a little bit more on the modern sort of era of DC movies, because I feel like that's where we should be talking about. I feel like you've made your mind up on a lot of these movies anyway. But what we're going to do is we're going to quickly get some of the old movies out of the way, and then we'll talk about the new ones. First things first. F tier. Superman 4 is an F tier movie, right? It was great as the trilogy. I'd go as far to say that you could literally let's pull them out right here, right? So come on, let's just look. These are A tier movies. These especially, I might even put the first one's in S tier, right? The other two were still really good, and it would have worked really well as a trilogy. The fourth one feels very much like it is just people trying to make more money out of the Superman franchise. I mean, Nuclear Man, come on, bro. It just fell apart. It didn't need to be made. It didn't need to be made. So that's it. For the Superman movies, it's going like that. Number one is an S tier movie. It is. This movie literally flew so other movies could grapple hook. It's as simple as that. Like, it's a great movie. It's a great introduction. The effects are pretty good. That maybe they don't hold up 100% nowadays, but they're fairly old movies. And you know what? Something that really plays into movies for me is enjoyability, and this movie, along with the other two, are really enjoyable. They're enjoyable to watch, and that's what makes a good comic book movie. Storyline's decent as well, so that's where I'm setting things off. That's our sort of bracket right here. We've got our F tier, we've got our S tier, we've got some A tiers. I think that's a good place to start. In the same vein as that, the first Batman, come on, not the 1960s Batman is good. Adam West, rest in peace, you're a legend. Thank you so much for what you did for the character. I used to love watching the old school Batmans as a kid, especially with my dad, just chilling in back in the day. So really enjoyed watching them. But we're talking about this ain't your daddy's Batman. This is your angsty teenage son Batman. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Come on, man. You got Jack Nicholson as the Joker, which is a great casting. You know, you got Michael Keaton, who is probably the worst Bruce Wayne, but he's a great Batman. I believe Honest Trailers put it right. Like, the guy's so perfect for the role that even his eyebrows make the bat signal. Like, you know, so really solid S tier movie. Has it aged a little bit? Is it still a great movie? Yes, it is. You know what? I'll go as far as to say Batman Returns carries that torch perfectly. In my opinion, again, S tier. These movies, we're talking about a time when comic book movies really didn't have that much of a space in the media. It's because of movies like this that they were taken more seriously. And again, like Danny DeVito as Penguin is great, you know? I don't think I need to say much. That's why I'm talking about the old movie. I think you've made your mind up on these movies, and there's not too much I really need to say about these ones. Supergirl, I remember this coming out. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just sort of like non-offensively in the middle, if I remember correctly. So I'm just gonna put that in a C. Let's put that right in the middle. So that's our sort of baseline. That's our baseline. Look, Steel again, like. I love Shaq. I'll be real. Watching Shaq as a documentary, Shaq Life, I think, came out. I did a little video on it because it was great. Came out like last year. And it really gave me more respect about Shaq as a person, as a businessman, as a family man. I love that he has an attitude towards life, that he's not going to let anything stop him. He's going to give it a go. And I think that's a very, very strong message to pass on to people in general. If he wants to be an actor, let him be an actor. If he wants to be an MMA fighter, let him be an MMA fighter. If he wants to be a DJ, let him do it. If he wants to become like the first black member on the board at Papa John's because he saw a racism scandal happening and wanted to try and get in on that conversation and change it for the better. Then he went ahead and done that, you know. Shaq is a stand-up guy all round, and Steel is hilarious. It's a D movie. That's my opinion. Maybe I should put Supergirl in that. Maybe this is the non-offensively bad range. C is like you're almost good, but you're not up there. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that for now. Then we go into the wildly just offensively bad. Ask anyone. This movie is trash. It's trash, bro. It's trash. This Green Lantern movie is trash. I didn't even like. I watched it once or twice. I didn't think it was that bad. Right? It's just not good. You know those ones. Like it's just not good. It's just a fail across the board. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. We got a new Green Lanterns piece of media coming out. I think it's a TV show, isn't it? So let's get out of here right now. Right now. Gone. See you later. Also in that F tier, Superman Returns. I'm sorry, man. Look, Brandon Routh is a great actor. He's a great actor. I think he's one of the best choices since Reeves for Superman / Clark Kent. Like, honestly, I think if he had been given a good script, give him, am I going to say Man of Steel? Maybe not. Put him in the new Superman and Lois show. Lois, whichever one you prefer. Lois Lane. It's Lois Lane. I'm an idiot. Put him in that show. He'd be doing great. And it's a good show, by the way. If you haven't started watching it, go and watch it. But look, Brandon Routh is a very good Superman. But this movie could literally, like, it could be a death sentence. Watching this movie is worse than watching Green Lantern. And it's just horrible, man. It's so horribly bad and offensively bad to, like, what a Superman movie should be: excitement, fun, and joy. And this sucks everything out of it. So get out of here. Get out of here. You're gone. Catwoman, I'd say it's in this realm where it's just, I'm putting F for, like, it failed. You're just not good, are you? You didn't do well. I don't care if you got Halle Berry in a nice cat suit that men are gonna perv over, because that's not what should make a good movie. It shouldn't. And it didn't. So there we go. Now we move into, this is it. This is what I'm talking. This list right here, this is what I wanted to talk about right now, because some of these do play into the Snyderverse, if you want to call it that, or just the current DCEU and the state of it in general. So let's get the last few out of the way. There's no disagreement when it comes to the Nolan trilogy that most of you are going to put near enough all three of those movies up here. Like, you know what? As a trilogy, it's pretty damn good, but for me, it falls short as far as the third movie goes. And I'll give you some reasons. I'm going to put it as a B, just because I know some people are going to get upset. Well, actually, fuck that. No, you know what? Get upset. You know what? Yeah, it's a B because, firstly, B for Bane. Bane is a Latino guy. He's wearing a bloody, like, Latin Mexican wrestler's mask, a luchador mask and stuff, right? That's his whole character, man. That's like a massive part of it. Dude's meant to be out here up on roids, fucking suplexing guys left, right, and center and stuff. While I did enjoy what they did with the approach, like how, like, his whole, like, take on society and things like that, that was great. That was a good antagonistic sort of character to give to him. But overall, the execution of Bane, and I love Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's a great actor, but the execution of Bane from a script writing point was really bad. I know it fit in this universe, but from, like, a comic book standard, because we're looking at this as comic book fans, right? You know, you don't go from Heath Ledger's Joker, which is, like, in my opinion, probably one of the most accurate portrayals of the Joker, even in, like, comic book takes as well. But also, like, you know, between him and Mark Hamill, two of the people that have nailed the character so spectacularly well. I mean, Jack Nicholson was good, but come on, man. Heath Ledger, rest in peace, may he rest in peace. Incredible take on the character. He really understood. He really did understand. And going from that into a Bane that doesn't really hit the mark as far as everything you sort of know from comic books doesn't work well. And the happy ending for Batman as well, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like Batman dying and sleeking off to another country. I don't like that. Batman doesn't need to die a symbol to be a symbol. Dude is a symbol. Dude is a symbol in his city already. He is the symbol of, you fuck around and do a petty crime, I'm gonna kick you off this rooftop and you'll never walk again. Like, that is Batman. You know, he don't need to die. He's already sort of a public enemy. Just some of the things that I like the movie, but sometimes it's hard to nail the landing, and I feel in some ways maybe it didn't do that. Let me do the last two Batman movies. It's as simple as this, right? Batman Forever is a D movie. I don't care what you say. It's fun, but it's just not very good. But I like it. I like Jim Carrey in it. I like Tommy Lee Jones. I like the introduction of Robin, despite him being like a fairly old dude. They were too scared to put a child into it for some reason. I don't know. But just not great. Just not great. Flip side of that though, S-tier movie, Batman and Robin. This movie's an S-tier movie. And if you don't believe that, then there's something wrong with you. Because look, I'll be real, right? Yes, I know everything I just said about like, oh, but Bane should have been blah, 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 right? In this case, Bane should have been Arnie, but even though the fact that he wasn't, it's great. Arnie as Mr. Freeze is honestly one of the best takes on the character. It adds so much fun to the movie. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with it, but I think if you watch this movie, you can't help but have a lot of fun. It's as simple as it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a great movie. It's bad, but not in an offensively sort of way. It's S tier in the way that every time I watch this movie, it brings me joy and it reminds me of my childhood. And I will revisit this movie more than a lot of these other movies. I'll be real. Like if I'm feeling like, oh, you know what? Let me watch a classic movie. I'll go back and watch Batman and Robin because this was a big part of my childhood and it was a lot of fun. You got Poison Ivy, you got Mr. Freeze, you got Batman, Batgirl, and Robin. You got Alfred dying, spoilers by the way, but really done in a cool way, and he'd been Alfred for ages, so I thought that was really awesome. You've got this whole like battle dynamic between not only like the villains, because eventually there's like a, you know, Poison Ivy snakes him and kills his wife and stuff to get him to follow along, but then you also got the Batman and Robin sort of dynamic where they're arguing over a gut. Like it's just got this really fun approach to it, and it's really stupid, I know, but ice puns and fairly good effects make up for it overall. I mean, I love when they're doing like the ice skating hockey part. It's just, there's just so much moments in that's awesome. I love when, like, again, right near the start where, like, Batman's like, pull over, you won't make it, and Robin's like, I'm gonna make it. He's like, pull over, and he's like, I'm gonna make it, and he can't make it, like, things like that, and they're going down a big ice hat. There's so much cool things in that movie, man. I really think it gets a bad rep, but I really think because of, like, everything that makes it bad makes it great, you know? I feel like I've been waffling on just a little bit, but some of these movies really trigger me. Now we get into the current state of the DCEU. This is where things start to... Everything that made some of these movies great, even the things that were bad about them that make them great, really, this is where it really falls into it. So straight away, right? Straight away. Let's start off. Where did it start? It started with Man of Steel. For me, personally, Man of Steel is an A-class movie. It is. It's an A-tier movie, whatever you want to say about it. I really think it's a really good movie. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's cool. I think it's a bit dark at times, but you know what? I kind of like that, because what I think works well about this is it's meant to be like, it's kind of a dark start for him to write. This is his point where he learns what it's going to mean to be this sort of like godlike creature in the world of regular humans. But also there's some really cool moments in it, and the soundtrack is incredible. And you know, I really do like Henry Cavill as Superman and Clark Kent, but I just feel like, you know, we really need that Man of Steel 2 to sort of see the balance between it. You kind of see it. I think that's something that really works well in Justice League, the Snyder Cut, is you sort of see this dude sort of starting to rise in his own way. He's starting to realize that he has to be the good guy. And you kind of don't see that in Batman vs Superman, which I will happily... Batman vs Superman is a conflicting movie for me, because it's terrible and it deserves probably a D, but at the same time, it's got two of my favorite portrayals of both these characters just in the wrong setting. I really like, it's got one of the probably the best Batman fight scene in any movie, and still one of the best fight scenes in a lot of comic book movies, when Batman goes to the warehouse. It's got some really good moments, but execution, everything about it was terrible. I would have liked to have seen a better way. I know it builds off of everything that happens in Man of Steel, but I just feel like it doesn't work. It doesn't work together at all, and it really just it didn't come together, is my opinion. And the worst thing is, I saw the premiere for this movie. I sat there, at midnight in the IMAX cinema, watching it, and I remember sitting there, and as it went on in my head, being like, "This is actually bad. This is actually." I can't believe this. I'm liking things that I'm seeing, but this is actually a bad move. And I could feel the atmosphere in the room of people also starting to realize, like, this movie that they'd really looked forward to so much wasn't actually good. And it was a profound sort of like low pressured atmosphere that was sweeping across the audience as we watched this movie. First people in the country realizing that, oh shit, people are going to fucking hate this movie. And for good reason. Then we got Suicide Squad, which I don't care, is an absolute F-tier movie. It really is. Aquaman is a B. Suicide Squad is just terrible. It's as simple as that. It's really bad. Aquaman is not offensively bad. And it again, what I like about Aquaman is it's got some really cool things going on in it. It's not the best movie, but it's got some really, like, it's definitely better than Batman vs Superman. And I feel like this completely got swept under. Like, the fight scenes in this, again, are really creative and interesting. The storyline's a bit meh, but it's decent enough to get things moving, you know. Fuck Amber Heard. I'm just going to throw that out there. Absolutely fuck Amber Heard. But other than that, I like what they did with this movie. It's not the greatest, but it's really not that bad. And especially, I know a lot of people like to compare stuff to Marvel. I don't think this is anywhere like near as bad as the first two Thor movies, you know. And they're kind of like similar characters within their universe in a weird way. The way they've got a cool guy to play them, this sort of like kind of like long haired fucking ancient type like dude who's just like from some mythical story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's as bad as the first two Thor. That's my opinion. Wonder Woman is conflicting. Wonder Woman is a C movie, and this isn't just like me saying, it's like the first two parts of the movie are pretty good. I don't know why we had to go into the past, but whatever. The first two halves of the movie, first two quarters, let's do this scientifically, mathematically, goddamn. But yeah, Wonder Woman isn't, again, it's not an offensively bad movie, but it just falls apart by the third act. It's just so meh. Like, you know, like, I've seen this 1,000 times over. Like, it's just typical, and it really could have been something good. Unfortunately, we don't have the Harley Quinn movie on here, and we don't have the second Wonder Woman, which I would, again, I'd put Wonder Woman, probably the second Wonder Woman would be in D, because it's just, it's super corny, and there's like one part where there's like clearly stunt dummies in it, and it's just some really bad moments. There's some really bad moments in it, and it's got the cast to not be bad, and it just fails to hit the mark. And now, this movie, The Justice League, the movie that I watched again, a premiere for, and the little kid sitting next to me told me to shut up, because I was like, God damn, Batman just got punched into a car. You know, I was excited. But goddamn, did this movie suck. Now that I've seen the Snyder Cut as well, what a fucking terrible movie. Like, honestly, and the weird thing is, it's the same as like Zack Snyder's movie, but it's just not. Like, I think a lot of people that go and watch the Snyder Cut, that is my tier list, by the way, that's it, right? I think a lot of people that watch the Snyder Cut, you're going to be hit with something that makes you feel like, oh, but I've already seen this movie before. And that's because you kind of have. But you saw a butchered version of it. If you can erase that from your mind and just watch Zack Snyder's version, it's a really good movie. And I'd place it at A tier, Zack Snyder's version, I would. I place it maybe even S, but it's an A tier movie. Things that lay it down, the music, terrible music choices throughout it for some reason. Just terrible. Like, there's a lot of 300 sounding stuff anytime Wonder Woman does anything, or the Amazons, and it's like, just use her bloody theme tune, the good theme tune. Like, where's all the Hans Zimmer gone? Like, legitimately, just really bad music choices for some reason in that. Slow-mo, overdone. I know it's a Zack Snyder movie, but literally there's a lot of slow-mo in it when there doesn't need to be. And it drags on because of that in places. It makes the fight scenes drag on a little bit when they don't need to. Because there could be there's some really good fight scenes. So you just don't need to do the slow-mo thing on it all of the time. And I'm not a big fan of the nightmare story, like dream storyline. I know a lot of people really like that, but I'm just like, just get that the fuck out of here. You just watched Injustice, or played Injustice, or read the comic, one of the two, and you were like, this needs to be in the movie for some reason, and it doesn't. It literally doesn't. But other than that, I think Zack Snyder's movie, in his vision, is a very, very good movie. It does a lot. It actually, for a movie that should have, like, you know, in the Justice League, it feels almost as slam bang put together as Suicide Squad. They just go, and now all the heroes are here. But in Zack Snyder's version, you actually get a fair bit of their little bit of backstory and understanding of all of the characters before they come together. And so, I don't know. I think that tied with Batman vs Superman, as bad as it is, you can see a vision and you can see what Zack Snyder was creating, and that just doesn't come across in the Justice League made by Joss Whedon, the Justice League as everyone's calling it. So yeah, that's my list. I'd love to know where you'd place some of these movies. I know it's very hard to be a DC fan in this day and age because Marvel's kicking ass, and they are, and they're doing a great job with it. Winter Falcon is out tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely incredible and probably make a lot of these movies look trash. But you have to remember that DC's on its own thing, and I think what we see best out of DC is a lot of these sort of standalone movies, and I really do hope that, you know, the next Batman movie that we get's really good. I really do. I'm excited for it. I think Matt Reeves is a good director. I think the casting choices are very good, and I'm excited to see what happens. Like with Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, when you're not trying to keep up with what Marvel are doing and just making your own stuff. So, and that's why you can see when you look at this, before the market was so heavily Marvel influenced, DC kind of had their shit together with movies. Not completely, but they kind of did. And then they got caught up in this race that they didn't need. I don't know. That's my thoughts and feelings on it, you know? Put on my Robin outfit for this. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please do leave a like, share. Let me know how you feel about these movies. Which one's your favourite one? Which one is your favourite one? I can't believe it's made like 20 minutes. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. But yes, thank you all. Thank you all for watching. And it's almost a weekend, so, you know, take care of yourselves, look out for each other. And the only other reason that I haven't uploaded this week is because I did the Windows update, and it sunk my, like, it bricked my computer for 2 to 3 days. I had to fix it, which is embarrassing on Microsoft's behalf, not my behalf. I did nothing wrong, but they literally mashed up my computer on a different level. I hope it's all working. I hope I can get this edit out today. Thank you. Enjoy it.